Hi, my name is Diana Iacosavas, and I'm sitting here with retired OPP police officer Cam Woolley and managing partner of Diamond & Diamond Lawyers, Sandra Ziskin. And today we're talking about the infotainment recording devices that are installed in your vehicles.
Cars that have past decade or so, the infotainment system, when you go in and you pair your phone with it and it knows your favorite songs.
Just
and it's
got a new car, it does all that.
Yeah, your
Very
Spotify.
happy about it.
Well, did you know that if someone else gets hold of your car, they can get into your emails, your texts, your Spotify, your music accounts, all that. So when you rent a car, Sandra, you travel a lot.
I do travel a lot.
And do you pair your phone?
I do pair my phone.
Do you remember to delete that data?
I'm going to say yes, because we are recording this, but but probably not.
Well, you really, really should, because the next person that rents your car's got your contacts and all this. And some cars are.
How? It connects automatically, and then it stores it in the car.
Yep. So if you go to the menu, it'll say delete. It's fairly easy to do. Now, that being said, the nerdier types that are watching this are going to go, it can still be extracted. Well,
Yes.
are you going to go to and I asked at the dealership, and they go, we really don't know. At
Right.
one of the GM dealers, I asked about it for my vehicle. So you'd actually have to go to a computer expert if you wanted to completely wipe it. It's sort of like when somebody deletes things in a phone or a laptop.
When you erase your phone.
Yeah, somebody can maybe, depending on the phone, recover it. But generally, if you delete it, you're fine. But it's quite interesting, too, when a car is totaled in a crash, and you deal with that all the time, Sandra.
Right.
All that stuff's going to be still in that car. So if somebody else buys it to fix it and that pops up, or if they sell the infotainment system to somebody else that wants to use it as a replacement, all that stuff's still going to be in the memory.
It's like a black box for a car.
Well,
Did not know that was.
Well, yeah, you know what the most common thing that they've been finding in the black box after a crash is most common two things are, oh, or hold my beer. No, they don't record. No, they do not record audio, by the way, but these infotainment systems do. The one that's hooked to the airbag doesn't record audio, but it does have this. It also knows how hard the collision was, the force of the impact, or delta V. So you have the mass of the car, the weight of the car, you know how hard it got hit, so you know how fast the other guy's going too.
I feel protected, but I also feel somewhat violated at the same time by my vehicle.
Well, some people argued that it was a privacy matter, and what the manufacturers did is they didn't want anybody to know, so they put it right in the front of the owner's manual.
Right.
Because nobody looked right in there.
You are being recorded at all times.
But I remember when we first got into this as police officers, and this is a long, long time ago, late 80s, early 90s, being car nuts. I was with a group that just did fatal and serious injury crashes in the OPP, and we did lots of them because it was the whole GTA. We knew that these modules were in the cars, and there was no way to get the information out of the module for the police or the insurance. It was in a closely guarded engineering secret.
Right.
So we used to actually subpoena a man from General Motors, Oshawa, that was a lawyer and an engineer, a wonderful man, the late Bill Davies, and he'd show up with this one laptop they had in Canada, plug it in, and GM, frankly, got a little bit annoyed with us calling upon him from time to time, and we had a meeting, and then they realized that they had, in pretty well every case, they protected themselves from huge civil liability, showing that the driver had been doing. It either got exonerated the driver, in some cases, completely, or showed the guy was being a complete fool doing like 200 kilometers an hour, and the car didn't go crazy.
Right, because more often than not, what we see, and I know we see it, it's driver error. It's not car error. Very rarely, I know we see all these recalls, and I know we see all of these things, but very rarely, and this is very anecdotal, but I don't find, and you can.
No, it's
true.
By the numbers.
It's really by the numbers. It's the driver error. It's not really the car manufacturer, because even if something is a little bit defective or there's a problem, they have a recall, it doesn't necessarily lead to an accident unless it's something, God forbid, with the brakes or something very key to stopping the car or starting the car. Usually it's minor things that are fixed quite quickly.
Yeah, although the airbag modules, some of them are still not fixed. The Takata modules, which can grenade and send shrapnel.
Right.
And that's another thing. But I remember there was I won't even name them because they don't deserve to be hassled. But there was, it's like a grenade. But
Yes.
what happened was there was some cars that would unintended acceleration, and the people put on the brake and it wouldn't stop. And there was a bunch of famous cases. Well, it turned out it was mostly fabricated crap. And I remember the manufacturer bringing a bunch of their cars out to the airport, to the International Center, to prove it. And I was got to be one of the test drivers, and we would get going 100 kilometers an hour or more, floor it,
Right.
I want
and
that
then
job.
slam on the
No,
brakes.
you do not want that job. No, you do not want that job.
It would stop every time. And
Right.
as they had these people in the States that would get going 120 miles an hour and then call the police dispatcher and go, oh, my car won't stop, crash ensue. There was a number of those sort of cases where it was fake.
But that's right. And this is the one that will show you that it's real. So to sum up on the data thing, I think what people don't realize, Cam, and you and I have discussed this privately, I'm not of the generation, you're probably more of the generation of the technology, but I'm certainly not. But you forget, you put your device into a vehicle, you just trust the device or trust the computer because you want to listen to Spotify or watch your Waze or do whatever. And you forget that they then have access to everything that's on your phone. And, you're right. I think it's important for people to remember that when you're trusting these devices, you have to make sure to delete all evidence and make sure they don't have anything that's personal of yours because they can use it against you.
Well, would you leave your phone just anywhere? And that's basically, if you were going to sell your old phone, would you just leave all the information on
Negative.
it? No, of course not. So it's like when you get a new laptop, do you do something to delete everything in the old one or destroy it? And you got to keep that in mind too. If you're in a crash.
Diana destroys all the laptops at Diamond & Diamond. She enjoys it. That's how she gets out her. That's how when she's aggravated with me or any of the partners at the firm, she takes a sledgehammer to the old laptops. That's our system of getting rid of data. Yes, it works well.
But people, here's one people don't remember though. If your car is declared a total loss by the insurance company, and that's pretty frequent, all your information's still in there. So
That's
you're
right.
going to want to try and deal with that. Now, if the car is badly damaged and there's no power to it, it turns into a whole episode of how to delete it.
So when you are leasing a vehicle, you return it after a certain time, you got to tell the dealership, you got to say to them, I need all this information deleted from my vehicle.
You should do it. Don't trust them. Next time you're in a rental car, just look and see. You'll see other people, oh, Sparky's been here, and there's the phone number, and oh, they went to Rama Casino, and they went over here, and all that kind of stuff. So what you got to do is
You've got some phone calls to make.
Yeah. So if
You've got some phone calls to make really quick.
If you have a leased car, or you're trading one in.
Yeah.
Make sure and delete it. And it's right there in the menu. It's pretty easy to find. If not, you may have to look in the owner's manual. But it's not very hard to find.
Hypothetically, if I was an employee of Diamond & Diamond and I had some compromising pictures, I'm not going to say her name because she's in the room and it would be embarrassing for her. But let's say she did. Would the pictures somehow be able to be tracked?
Oh, yeah. The
dear.
photos, videos, all that stuff's on there. Texts, emails.
In my car?
Call log, everything.
Oh, boy.
Well,
If is your car newer than 8 years old?
Diana will be calling the dealership very quickly. All right.
do anyway.
Well, of course.
Allegedly, Diana. Allegedly.
Well, the mechanics can get in there and have a good time.
All right. So
And
thank
they
you.
would.
Yes. To wrap it up, just make sure you delete all your personal information. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.